Happy rails to you. Welcome back, my friends. Happy rails to you. It's good to see you again. Happy rails to you. Please keep watching in. Okay, welcome back, everybody. This is G-Man, part 2 of look what just came in, the Canadian Pacific 494. Well, when we left off, we were saying there's a number of things that we needed to do to this engine, and one of the main things was that we needed to see if I can get this camera right. That we needed to make side rods. And so I've made some side rods. Hope you can see them. And what I did was I got a number of the old Marx battery operated engines that the majority of them some of them went through the flood that we had here about 4 or 5 years ago, about 4 years ago. Some of them went through a couple of floods. But irregardless, there's only like 1 or 2 of them that actually work. And I had already junked out some other ones over the last couple of years. I had several of them. And I ran across them the other day and I hadn't even thought about it. But you can take the side rods off of those and modify them and use them on the electric engines. They're the same length. I found one original, and there it is. And these are the same exact length, but they're just made differently. These are square on the ends, and these have the round circle and round on the ends. So what I did was I measured, marked my spot for my hole, and drilled a hole in each one. Now I'm going to take my Dremel, or my little Dremel-like tool, and I'm going to reshape these just a little bit to make them a little more rounded. Now, you don't have to do this. This all depends on what you want. I kind of like the square idea. But on the ends of these, they have a little tab, and you have to break that tab off and then flatten out the end of them so that they'll not be tucked under. So on the battery operated engines, they just have a hole in the wheel, and then they have a tab on the end of these, and it sits down into the wheel and kind of locks into the wheel, and that's what holds them on. Hope you can see this. And I'm not going to make them completely round. I'm just tapering them down some. And you can see that one side of this is extremely rusty, so we're going to clean that up also. I'm going to change this out. Get a different wheel. I think I'm going to go back to this one. This one gives me more of the tapered look that I want. Kind of gets rid of those square lines. There we go. Can you see the difference? Like I said, we're not going to make it as round as the other one. We're just taking these squares. basically, and taking the points off of them. There. Try to keep them uniform with one another. After you do one, you get your basic shape. The other side will go pretty quick. The other All right. Yeah, we'll get the brush out and clean it up a little bit. All right. And there's the finished product. Get them at the right angle so you can really see how they cleaned up. There we go. This is the one that was the worst of the two. And so we've got them there. Put this up. All right, we'll get the motor back over here. And we'll put these in place. Thought I had my punches out, but I didn't. So, grab my punches real quick. Well, maybe not. Thought I had them right down there. Okay. Now, once you put those, you get those done, you take them and you put them, I think it's this one, on your wheel. You take your punch, and you widen that out. Now, go to the bigger size because I want to make sure that's what I was afraid of. Well, I'm going to have to work from the center of it. Spread it out some more. Sometimes when you removed old That's better. See if I can get a little more on there. When you take off drive rods off of these post type, and then you go back and you clean them up, you lose a portion of your shaft. This one, unlike the other one, we had plenty of surface to work with. I don't think that spread out is good. Sorry about that. Is what I would like it to be. There we go. And as you can see, this one came back off. There we go. Sometimes you got to just go ahead and use the hammer. Okay. All righty. And so there we have side rods are mounted. Our engine is now complete. Last night, I spent a little extra time trying to get this ready for today so that this segment of the video wouldn't be too long. But I'm afraid this whole video is going to be just as long as the other one. So, but when you're working on an engine, especially when we've got a lot of extensive work to do, even though you try to cut some of it out and so forth and so on, your video still runs for a little excessive period of time. So bear with me. We're almost done. I took my favorite 16 gauge. I like to work with this. This is copper wire. It's very flexible, so it bends easily. But once you've got it in the shape that you want it in and you put it where you need it, it stays pretty taut, and unless you intentionally bend it or something, it just doesn't bend really that easily. So, and it takes on the shape of whatever you're wanting to put it on fairly well. And it was either this or baling wire, and I didn't have any baling wire. And as I say, I like to use a 16 gauge copper. So, and you can get this at anywhere where they sell crafts. I don't remember how much it cost, but it's not very expensive at all. I had to make 2 eyelets for this, one for this side, right there, and one for this side. as I didn't have any small cotter pins. I thought I did, but apparently I didn't. So say invention is the mother of necessity, and so we just made a couple of cotter pins. Now to do that, in order to do that, I used it's almost like piano wire, but it's not quite the same. You can get these at the Dollar Trees. This is called cutting wire. You use this to hang picture frames or to wire up plants. It has thousands of multiple uses, and comes with a little cutting tool, which I haven't had to use because I have several of them already. But it's only $1 usually. Now this particular one, I bought it at $1 plus, and so this was $1.99. But still, it's a good buy. You get 3 spools, or 3 rolls rather, and for no more than you actually may use it, this might last you for virtually almost a lifetime. You can also use that for handrails. It's smaller, much smaller than the 16 gauge wire. It's about half the size of the 16 gauge. All right, I touched it up, as you can see. No more scratches, no more scuffs. I wish I had a better angle. Let's try that. I did repaint the inside cab back here. It was not too bad, but there was hardly any paint on it at all. It looked like it was never ever painted, and it should have been. So apparently it was maybe missed at the factory when it was first done. And so I went ahead and I repainted the inside of that and touched up the black and the gray in a couple spots. Now, I'm not going to do a whole lot to this gray. I just touched it up in a couple spots where it was necessary. Still have 2 things to do to this shell before it's actually done. We need the scones, and we need the headlight rim. Three things which I do not have: 2 scones and 1 headlight rim. Also, I looked through my little parts dealies here with screws and miscellaneous parts. Thought maybe I might have a rim I could use, or something like a rim that could be used, and I do not. So I'm going to see what I can find that I can use at the hardware store today. See what I can come up with. I always find a lot of goodies. When I go to the hardware store, things that will work for modeling room that are almost just identical to the things that were actually made for that. Sorry about that. I get to looking through these things, and sometimes I see things that I didn't even know I had. Okay. So, anyway, we need scones and we need a headlight rim. We have a headlight, as we'll use one of our bumpers. And like we did on the 491, or the 391, I'm sorry. Well, that's it for now, guys. As always, if you enjoy working on your trains, customizing, rebuilding them, working on your layout, whatever it is that you like, you should have Happy Rails. And that's all for now. Bye-bye.